morning, Quadcopter 101 here, and what I got for you today is a neat review. Again, always neat reviews. This is the Cheerson CX-91 jumper. Now, I know a lot of you say, oh yeah, the jumper's been around for a while. That's true. This first came out in February, I believe, a few months back. But since then, Cheerson has updated this, upgraded it, and I'll show you in a second what I mean by the upgrades. And what overall, what the jumper is intended to be is a beginner's, not a beginner, but an intermediate flyer's entry into FPV flying. That's what it's intended for. You know, your first FPV racer quadcopter. This is by no means a beginner's learn to fly quadcopter. So beginners, you know, forget about it. In fact, there is no brushless quadcopter out there for beginners that I would recommend. Okay, brushless motored quadcopter is just too powerful for beginners to handle, and they'll probably hurt themselves or hurt somebody or cause property damage attempting to fly it. But for intermediate flyers who already know how to fly, this may be your entry-level quadcopter that you're looking for. Now, this is Cheerson's first attempt. Let me put this transmitter down for a second, a little bit heavy, holding both up at the same time. This is Cheerson's first attempt at a brushless quadcopter, a brushless FPV quadcopter, racer quadcopter, in other words. They already had the Cheerson camera quadcopters out there, like the CX-20 and CX-22, but this is their first FPV quadcopter attempt with a brushless motor. But again, I mentioned that this is an upgrade. And what is that upgrade? Let me show you. The biggest upgrade is in the interior. It's a different circuit board than the previous model. The previous model had only a single row. I believe this is your ESCs for these ESCs, but they've since then added 2 additional rows of circuit boards to go with your ESCs. Now, I am not an electronics engineer or electrical engineer. I have no idea why they would need 2 additional boards or 2 additional rows of circuit boards here. But I know that a lot of my viewers are up with electronics, and they'll be able to explain below in the comments section what these might be for. Why is this an upgrade? Additionally, let's go over the other things in the interior. The quadcopter does come with a 32-channel FPV transmitter. And also included is a polarized antenna, which helps in yanking and banking the quadcopter and maintaining reception throughout those yanks and banks. The receiver also comes with a polarized antenna, by the way. I'll go over the receiver here in a section. If you look at the body of the quadcopter, it is all plastic. I do not see any carbon on this quadcopter at all. I guess that's to keep the cost down. But other than that, you know, it may be nylon. Fiberglass, I'm not sure what that it's made of. Let's go over the quadcopter's propellers. They're tri-propellers. One thing that I had a difficulty with in the instructions, they tell you to install them the opposite direction than what you really have to do. Okay, they told me to install a clockwise propeller here, and actually it really needs a counterclockwise propeller. So take note of that. The instructions are a little bit off. It includes an FPV camera, 720p TVL FPV camera. The SD card for it goes right there. I had to figure that out for a bit. It was in the instructions, but it was kind of small where to put this. But there's where your SD card goes. There's a little slot right there. There is no USB port on this thing, so this is not programmable through any flight control software or upgrades. You can't change the configuration of this quadcopter, so that's one thing that advanced pilots would probably be discouraged to get this. But again, beginner pilots shouldn't be monkeying with that at all. The intent of this quadcopter is a ready-to-fly FPV racer right out of the box, almost ready to fly. You got to put the props on and attach the antenna. But other than that, you know, it's ready to go. It includes an 32-channel FPV monitor. Now, the brackets for this monitor is supposed to attach to the controller. Unfortunately, I lost the screws to attach those to this monitor. So, but I am going to show how this monitor works. It has an on-off switch. It has a charging port which uses a Samsung USB, I guess that's mini USB or micro USB. I believe it's mini USB connector that goes in there. You know, the one that's a little oblong shape. Other than that, on the top it has controls. This is for changing the channels. This is for changing the frequency band. This is for going up and down on those channels. And there's menu selections for brightness, contrast, and all the others right there by selecting that. It comes default in Chinese, so you got to press this menu button down and then press the plus button about 5 times to get to the language selection. Then you got to press the menu button again and then press it 5 more times to get to English. So keep that in mind, folks, if you're confused with the menu. It does come with, again, with a polarized antenna for that. Again, I will be recording the video with this using a camera to record the received video, so you'll be able to see what this screen actually sees while I'm flying. Let's go over the transmitter. This is the transmitter for the CX-91. To bind this quadcopter, I'll go over the procedures shortly, but I understood that the original CX-91 that came out a few months ago had problems binding it. This one has no problems at all binding, but there is a procedure to do that. You turn on the quadcopter first, wait a few seconds for its gyros to initialize, or for it to go through its bit tests, I guess. And then you turn on the transmitter, and then it will automatically bind to the quadcopter. The buttons that you got on this button here is for your camera controls. If you push up, that starts the video and stops the video after you land by pushing up. If you want to take a photo, you push down. It does have beginner and expert, and what I understand with expert is it's manual control, so it may shut off the angle restrictions on the quadcopter. I don't know if it's still stabilized, but we'll see in flight here. And supposedly, you know, angle restrictions to let you do manual flips if you wish to do such. To start the quadcopter, to lock it or unlock it and lock it, you press the throttle switch all the way down and to the right, and that will unlock the quadcopter so you can fly it. And then after you land or in a crash, you can lock those blades by pushing down and to the right. One other feature that I didn't discuss yet is that when the battery on this thing expires, it will not drop out of the sky. It supposedly is supposed to land. I am not going to attempt that, though. I always like to land a little bit early, so when we do this flight today, we're going to go for about 5-6 minutes. I'll make it 6 minutes for the flight. But again, for the flight, I will push the camera nose upward so that we get somewhat of a level view of the camera as we're moving forward through flight. Now, one other thing, the canopy of the jumper is held in place by little cotter pins, little hairpin cotter pins, just like in fact, the canopy is just like a toy grade, a RC car. So that's unusual in itself. There's only a couple other quadcopters I've seen like that, like the KC or the K70 that has plastic canopy with cotter pins. So I'm going to put this up, button it back together, and we'll go for a flight. I hope you enjoy the first flight of the CX-91 jumper. Okay, I got my screen recording. I put my little sunshade on that screen. By the way, I recommend building one of these. These are make it very easy to see in sunlight. Now, to start up this quadcopter, again, the original version of this had problems during startup process. This one doesn't seem to have a problem in binding during startup. It's very easy, very simple. The thing is, though, you have to remember is you plug in the quadcopter first to bind this quadcopter. Again, you plug it in first, and you put it on the ground and let its gyros calibrate. Or actually, I guess it's going through a bit test. You wait until you see red blinking lights on the back of the quadcopter, which means it's ready to bind with the transmitter. Then you turn on the transmitter, and there, the red blinking lights turn solid. So it's very easy now to bind with this. Now I'm going to set it to beginners, and right now I am going to remember to turn on the camera. So we're recording. I'm going to verify that we got picture, and we do have picture, and I do see the recording signal on my screen there, and you should be able to see it too since I'm recording this screen. Let's go for a flight. Okay, I'm going to start off in beginner's rate. Let's set it up and trim it. I got to unlock it first, and it's unlocked when you see the green lights. We're ready to go. Taking it up. Okay, seems to be reasonably trim. Let's trim it to the right a bit. And bring it lower. The wind took it there away from me. We had a little bit of a breeze, but let's fly it around in beginner's rate. And I better bring it in closer so you can see this. Okay. Actually feels pretty good in expert rate or beginner's rate here. And wait a minute, folks, I forgot to start my timer. Okay, we had about a minute of flight already, so let me land it. And I'm going to turn on my timer. Always time your flights, folks. It helps. Let's see, we'll set 5 minutes. Starting the timer. And away we go again. Got to unlock it again. Okay. So that's what it looks like in flight. Let's see what it does. We'll send it out. Again, this thing supposedly has 300 meter range. This is in beginner's rate. Not too shabby. Not too shabby at all in beginner's rate. Actually moving quite a clip. How's it in maneuverability? Let's try it. It'll stop. I went full speed there and do it again. It comes to a stop. Let's try a punch. Bring it a little closer and we'll punch it. Ready, set, punch. Wow. Actually not bad. You know one thing I forgot to check? What happens when you lose contact from the transmitter? Coming back down again. Coming back down from way up there. It shot to 100 meters real fast. But I want to land it for a second, folks. We haven't seen what happens when you lose transmission. And bringing it to a stop. Okay, let's give it a little bit of throttle, just a little bit. Okay, and turning off the transmitter. 1001, 1002, 2 seconds, it'll shut down. Turn the transmitter back on. And we're back again. One more punch. Has plenty of punch. Now, again, I forgot to mention it again, I got this directly from Cheerson. I'm not sure who has this upgraded version yet, or even if it's for sale yet, if anybody has it yet. But I will ask Cheerson, and I will include the links once I know who has this below, because it seems to be pretty damn fast and pretty much fun. And very controllable. Now let's bring it in close again. I want to go into expert rate now, hopefully, and not break it, because I'm curious, is it still, when in expert rate, does it still have some caliber or self-leveling? So going there right now, we're in expert rate. Oh yeah, I see what expert rate is. It turns off the angle restrictions, but it still has plenty of, let me show you that, folks. Bring it up a little closer. It turns off the angle restrictions, but it still has a lot of self-leveling to it. Let me show that. See? See? I almost went vertical, but it quickly self-levels, so I should be able to do flips very easily with this thing. Going up again, and this thing does flips very easily. How about fast flips? Very easy to do flips with this, folks. Anybody can do it. You just pull back on the throttle. And it self-levels. So this is a, without angle restrictions, actually a lot of people actually might like this. Do it again. Too close to the ground. Make sure you got some altitude. Going back to beginners, I want to make sure I didn't break that thing. Make sure you got some altitude. Don't come too close to the ground. This actually could be a lot of fun with that feature right there. Let me double check it, folks. I didn't crack anything, did I? It landed flat. Seemed to take it well, pretty well. Okay, but that is a neat feature. Okay, unlocking again. Let's go again. High-speed runs over the desert. So you can do flips with it. Now let's do some landscaping. Trim the bushes. Get out of the way, little bird. Out of the way. There goes my timer. I'm not stopping. I'm having fun. How's my lights? Are they blinking? No? They're doing fine. So, all in all, this is enjoyable. I gotta admit it. It's an enjoyable flyer. And it would be appropriate intermediates entry into FPV racers. And I do like that beginner or expert mode. Stabilized acro. And it's very stabilized. Let's do that again. Very easy. Very easy to do. Okay, I hear a beep beep. That means it's time to land. Coming back to beginners. Fun flyer. The CX-91, folks. Very fun flyer. Okay, locked. My thoughts? That feature, the beginners or the expert mode feature of stabilization without the angle, it quickly stabilizes. I don't know how to say that. It's hard to get in trouble. I did get in trouble when I tried to do it too low to the ground, but if you're way up in the air, you can do banks and rolls with this very easily, apparently. I kind of like that. I want to give this one another shot here in the future. We'll do some more acrobatics with it. Hope you enjoyed this flight of the upgraded CX-91 jumper. Kind of a blast to fly. Quadcopter 101, signing out.